Was the Shibuya incident arc too dark? I say this because before the Shibuya incident arc, and frankly I'll add in the Gojo past arc as well, before these two arcs, the Jujutsu Kaisen story, was quite light-hearted, wasn't it? It had its goofy moments when Yuji pretended to be dead back in season 1 and hoping for a big reception after he reveals that he was alive all along to his friends Megumi and Nobara. The reaction from Megumi and Nobara was obviously not the reaction Yuji wanted, and to be fair, Gojo as well, because at the end of the day, it was Gojo's idea for Yuji to pretend that he's dead in the first place. So both Gojo and Yuji didn't get the reaction they wanted and were called goofballs by the other characters, which was a funny moment. And the series had plenty of goofy moments. Even the Gojo vs Jogo fight had Gojo clowning Jogo, saying "Ora ora," and just generally trolling him throughout the fight. Even before the Shibuya incident arc got animated in season 2 episode 6, we had the Yuko flashback with Yuji, where it's literally light-hearted slice of life involving Yuji and a girl named Yuko, where it was revealed both characters liked each other, but Yuko was always teased because of her appearance. But Yuji didn't care, as he revealed that Yuko was his type, as he likes her handwriting and the way she eats, which gives another perspective on how humble Yuji is as a character and what makes him a likable character. You had this very light-hearted, wholesome episode being showcased just before the madness of the Shibuya incident arc. And as dark as the Gojo past arc was, in all honesty, the darkest moment in the Gojo's past arc was when Riko got shot in the head by Toji. Everything else was things you expect from a gory series like Jujutsu Kaisen that focuses on evil demonic spirits aiming to end human civilization. The Gojo past arc had many light-hearted moments. Even the opening theme of that arc in the anime was bright and blue, showing to us that this was Gojo's happiest days and his best memories, as we see both him and Geto easily wipe away the assassins from both the Star Religious group and all the other assassins that came after the bounty on Riko's head after Toji released it onto the dark web. We saw moments even in that arc where Gojo and Geto were having fun with Riko, going to the aquarium, having a picnic, going to the beach. So much stuff that you would think that they were on an all-inclusive holiday instead of on the run against killer assassins. The dark moment happened because we see Gojo and Geto truly bond with Riko and making her understand that she doesn't have to be a sacrifice for Master Tengen and that both of them will be there to protect Riko. But after Riko said she wants to live and she tragically died by the hands of Toji, it was the build-up towards that moment you didn't see coming, because they were all so happy together, and then for her to be shot dead, it really hit deep. It was so similar to Junpei back in season 1, where you bond with a character and think that they will be part of the main cast, but then they suddenly get killed off by the antagonist of that arc. So I'm not saying there won't be any dark moments before the Shibuya incident arc. Of course there was. You need these big moments in a story for your audience to be engaged. Otherwise, if you just have light-hearted filler, then it would feel like you're watching something like Pokemon. Look at Hunter x Hunter. That started off light-hearted, but then you meet Kurapika and find out the backstory, and you know that a group called the Phantom Troop are there waiting to be an antagonistic group, which will have an arc dedicated to them, which ended up being the York New City arc. Or even in One Piece, we had hints of Nami's tragic backstory when we see her shaking in fear when she saw Arlong's wanted poster. And in the original manga of the story, when we see Sanji's backstory, when we meet Sanji, we see that Chef Zeph actually ended up eating his own leg to survive, as he let Sanji eat the last remaining food left for both of them. So as light-hearted as One Piece was when we meet enemies like Buggy and the non-threatening villains like Captain Kuro, who only wanted to steal money from a rich girl's family, there was dark moments sprinkled across the early arcs of One Piece, with Sanji's backstory, Nami being trapped in a never-ending debt against a notorious fisherman pirate in Arlong, and many others. And Jujutsu Kaisen, just like the series I mentioned, had those dark moments sprinkled across throughout the story before we got to Shibuya. And I would say our main trio of characters of Nobara, Yuji, Megumi, and Gojo, if you want to add him to the mix, were very funny and enjoyable characters to just watch on screen. Their interactions were genuinely very funny. But I feel the tone fully shifts in Shibuya, where you had many characters die and their fan-favorite characters as well. So I just wanted to ask you guys, did the sudden shift in tone from all the previous arcs into Shibuya, was it too dark? And has the story recaptured that lightness it had before the Shibuya incident arc? I'm not too sure it did, I'll be honest, because I feel the story itself now has accelerated its stakes to a different level now. To me, as a fan of the series and of many shonen series, it felt like Shibuya to me was an endgame level arc that came quite early on in the story. Now, for many of you, that may not be the case, but I made a video comparing both the Marineford War arc in One Piece and the Shibuya Incident arc, so if you haven't already, please do go and check that video out. But there's many similarities between both the arcs in that they're both massive game changers in the world of those stories. Luffy's bounty gets an increase, and the secret of him being Dragon's son gets spread throughout the One Piece world. And Yuji's execution was originally delayed thanks to Gojo, but is now back on the table with him having his death sentence imminent and as soon as possible. There's many comparisons I could mention, but I already have a video talking about the comparisons, but I just wanted to mention the aftermath of these two arcs for our main characters in both series. For both Yuji and Luffy, the notoriety and stakes went up even higher now that they are known in their respective worlds and are amongst the most wanted in their stories. But for One Piece, the Marineford War arc came as a halfway point for the story, according to Oda himself. But the Shibuya Incident arc itself started from chapter 79, less than 100 chapters in. You have this game changer of an arc so early on in the story, which completely changed the tone of the story as it went from light-hearted banter amongst our cast to now having life or death battles in the Culling Games and currently against Sukuna right now in the latest chapters. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Your story has to eventually become serious as you reach closer to the climax of the story, but did the tonal shift come too early in the story, and was it sudden? I know other stories like Bleach had massive arcs early on in their stories. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but was the Shibuya Incident arc too dark too early on in the story that after that arc, anything else that comes after it doesn't feel as impactful? I think it's a debate worth having, so please let me know in the comments down below if you think whether the Shibuya Incident arc was either too dark or too early in the story of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm looking forward to what you guys say in the comments below, and let's get an actual debate going in the comments below. And of course, as I always say, don't forget to subscribe to the Shaman Tribe.